that our president, whose name is found over and over and over and over in these files, may have engaged in, say, child trafficking, sex trafficking. They may come to that conclusion. Now, with that being the understanding, if there are other countries that believe, because they believe in actually holding people accountable, okay? So they say, you know what? There were some girls from England or wherever, because there were people from different countries. And they say, you know what? We gonna just come and we're gonna drop in on America. We're going to bomb America. We're going to kill civilians in America because you know what? We have a warrant for his arrest. Whether it's for the child sex trafficking in the Epstein files because America doesn't want to do their job, or whether we're talking about violating international law, whether we're talking about going and just randomly killing people. I can tell you that every single one of you that is sticking up for him right now would be screaming from the rooftop.
Tonight, we take a closer look at a moment in Congress that's raising complex questions about power, accountability, and the rule of law. Representative Jasmine Crockett delivers a pointed argument that goes beyond partisan politics, challenging how the United States justifies military action abroad while navigating legal standards at home. At the center of this exchange is a broader issue. When does military action cross into war, and who has the authority to decide? As tensions escalate globally and political rhetoric intensifies, this moment highlights a growing debate over constitutional limits, international expectations, and the real-world consequences of those decisions.
Start with Tupac. We're going to start with the fact that Tupac famously said, for those of you that didn't necessarily listen to rap, that we've got money for war, but we can't feed the poor. And the reason that I bring this up is for two reasons. Number one, in order to get Maduro, the estimated cost is $3 billion. I can guarantee you that a lot of Americans would say, yes, there's a valid warrant and things like that, but for the cost of $3 billion, let's put our money somewhere else, number one. Number two, Professor, you talked about the fact that if there wasn't the loss of life as it relates to our service members, or if this was just kind of quick boots on the ground for a second, then it wasn't war. So just answer this question for me. Would you consider what is taking place currently in the Middle East a war because we continue to have our sons and daughters returned in caskets to the United States? That's a yes or no?
No, the analysis for Iran is different.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you agree with me then? Yes?
I didn't say that.
Okay, it's different analysis. So I'm just going to go with you agree with me because this is clearly a war and it's unconstitutional. That is the bottom line. And frankly, as it relates to Venezuela, I think that we still will have some time to determine exactly how bad it is. Because imagine for 2 seconds that you had fishermen and sailors that were coming from the United States, and Venezuela all of a sudden started bombing our people, saying, oh, no, you're bringing guns. Because let me be clear, America does their fair share of nonsense in other countries. We tend to supply everybody with the guns. We flood this world with guns everywhere, right? So let's say they said, you know what? We don't want all those guns going to the gangsters in our communities. So we're just going to start blowing people up. And frankly, legally, that may work for them. You know why? We have a constitution and not everybody does. And so it is offensive to sit here and engage in this conversation as someone who practiced criminal law. And my God, everyone that I had, no matter what they were accused of, even if they were accused of capital murder, they were given an opportunity to actually show up in court and face their accusations, not be killed. So the justification, like, I don't understand why we are trying to make it partisan. It should not be partisan to just go and blow up these boats. Are you saying, Professor, that you believe that blowing up these boats because somebody believes it? You know what? Let me do it this way. Let's say they are drug traffickers. Do you believe that it is constitutional for the United States to blow up people that are accused of being drug traffickers?
So it's not going to be a yes or no question. If I could take
okay, then I'm gonna stop you there because I only got so much time. And Professor, I was really loving on you because you came from South Texas, which is down in Houston, not too far from the University of Houston, where I got my law degree. But it is very clear that it is unconstitutional for us in the United States. Let me give y'all another issue that I don't understand if y'all see it the way that I do. There's this little thing called the Epstein files. There's a lot of people that have been found liable, charged, all kinds of stuff, from Prince Andrew and Peter Mandelson, from Norwegian officials, the former prime minister, and the former ambassador, all of these different people, right? Some would argue, especially since there was international trafficking that was taking place, some would argue that our president, whose name is found over and over and over and over in these files, may have engaged in, say, child trafficking, sex trafficking. They may come to that conclusion. Now, with that being the understanding, if there are other countries that believe, because they believe in actually holding people accountable, okay? So they say, you know what? There were some girls from England or wherever, because there were people from different countries, and they say, you know what? We gonna just come and we're gonna drop in on America. We're going to bomb America. We're going to kill civilians in America because, you know what? We have a warrant for his arrest. Whether it's for the child sex trafficking in the Epstein files because America doesn't want to do their job, or whether we're talking about violating international law, whether we're talking about going and just randomly killing people. I can tell you that every single one of you that is sticking up for him right now would be screaming from the rooftops. The analysis has to be the same. I am so offended that I am still paying my daggone student loans for law school, and it seems like none of it matters nowadays, because seemingly what we do is we twist the law to justify. The analysis is the same. If you would be outraged if they came and bombed our country to go after him, to arrest him, if you're listening, that I don't know if people are doing this. But if they decided to do that because of the Epstein files or because of violating international law, you all would be against it. So we should be against it right.
What stands out in this exchange is not just the criticism itself, but the legal lens through which it's delivered. Crockett frames her argument around constitutional consistency, particularly the idea that the same standards applied domestically should, in principle, guide international actions as well. By drawing comparisons between hypothetical foreign interventions on U.S. soil and actual U.S. operations abroad, she introduces a difficult but important question about reciprocity in global law. Her remarks also tap into a long-standing constitutional debate, the balance of power between Congress and the executive branch when it comes to military engagement. While presidents have historically taken unilateral action in certain situations, critics argue that sustained or large-scale operations require clearer congressional authorization. At the same time, discussions around cost, both financial and human, add another layer to the issue. When policymakers weigh national security decisions, how should they measure trade-offs between military objectives and domestic priorities? So, here's the key question. Can a country effectively advocate for international accountability while facing scrutiny over how it applies those same principles itself? Ultimately, this moment reflects a broader challenge in modern governance: how to balance national security interests with constitutional responsibility and global credibility. The concerns raised here are not isolated. They connect to ongoing debates about war powers, oversight, and the ethical boundaries of military force. Regardless of political perspective, discussions like this shape how citizens understand the role of government, the limits of authority, and the consequences of decisions made on the world stage. As these issues continue to unfold, public engagement becomes a critical part of the democratic process. What's your perspective on this? Do these actions reflect necessary leadership in a complex world, or do they raise valid concerns about consistency and accountability? Let us know in the comments below. And if you value thoughtful, fact-based analysis without the noise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns of the stories shaping today's political landscape.